Hello. So a few days ago, I rented a few movies, and I used to talk about the movies we rented, but I have no idea what happened to those videos. But I used to do it when I lived in Oklahoma, because I'd rent movies on my way home from work. We'd watch them, and then as I'm walking to work the next day, I would talk about them, because it was like 3:30 in the morning, walking down the very, very dark, quiet street. So, since I have the workshop now, I thought I would tell you about the movies. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Star Wars Last Jedi. I take it or leave it. Like, I wasn't quite on board for Force Awakens. Um, like I read a ton of books that they now tell me is just non-existent in the universe, and so I figured I'd choose the universe that I prefer, and I prefer the books and that extended universe and the games and all that, and they sort of just shit on that. So Last Jedi was good for the action. Story was okay. Uh, Character interaction I thought was very Disney, and I have a huge problem. Which this probably sounds a little funny, but I have a big problem with in the original three and the prequels. You saw very little blood, and in this one you see Kylo Ren like kick a guy into a turbine, and that guy's like body parts, like the chunks fly up out of it. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Maybe it's just because it's Disney now. I don't know what it is. The porgs piss me off. Like, I know, like, there's a whole thing, like, some people think they're super cute, and then others, like, absolutely hate them. And I absolutely hate them. They Star Wars and Star Trek are always sort of based loosely in reality. Star Trek, very much so. Porgs are not realistic. Like, they're little toys. They're literally just toys waiting to happen. And I mean, they already happened, obviously, because it's Star Wars and it's Disney, and they know how to sell shit and market. And I've seen them up at work, little porg dolls. But the way they fly, like whenever like Chewie swats at them, they fly real stupid, and it's irritating. The other, uh, that's pretty much all my Star Wars. That's all I have to really say about Star Wars. Um, Next one was It, the new one. It was alright. It was more of a monster flick than a horror flick. The first one was kind of like a psychological thriller, but still very scary, and yet, like, the role of the clown is like people always say, like, there's no other Freddy than Robert Englund, but he has very little performance in that movie. Like, he just does the same thing over and over with the same weird, shitty line. And so I guess Tim Curry's It, with the small amount of lines, he's graded upon, like, his creepy factor. And this one's pretty creepy, except it's more monster like. I just feel like it's more of a monster movie than a new age sort of. Like, it doesn't fit in with Paranormal Activity or Record, because I really like Record. I actually like the original better than, like, Brazilian or Spanish or whatever. That one's really good. Um, it just doesn't fit in with those. It's more of a monster flick, and from what I heard or am to understand, like, this It is Alien, which is the way it was in the book. I don't know. I don't have that much information on It, so yes. I don't know. It sounds like people walking outside every now and then. moving the door, like trying to open the door and walking in the gravel. But I guess not. Guess not. So let's see. Next was Coco. I didn't watch. That was the kids. I sent the kids to their room with that. Although Charmin and Jane both watched a decent amount of it. Charmin missed the beginning. Jane skipped out on the end. That's what I would have done. But I was just standing around watching it. It wasn't terrible. I don't like scary movies, and this one wasn't terrible. That's why I say it's more of a monster flick than anything else. Lastly was Justice League. I liked it. It was I think when I thought of Justice League being made into a movie, it would I guess I thought it would better fit in a world like Christopher Nolan's Batman. But the way they made it, it's more like the old 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s WB Justice League show. Like, it was funny at times, like a lot of the time, but it still had this like serious factor. It was like it was trying to get the adults and the kids, and like it worked. I didn't have much to say about the story. Like, my problem is like, it's Justice League. You wanted a fucking movie of Justice League. And I mean, I complained about the Fantastic Four movie when it came out years ago. And then I was like, Jesus, they're getting a second one too. It's like, man, I guess the first one wasn't that bad. And then they came out this other one, and it's like... So I definitely prefer the older one. Well, like, the new one was cool too. I like the new one for what it attempted. I don't understand how you can just completely erase that movie just because you didn't think it did good enough. Like, you made it, live with it. Is how I feel. Like, was it Michael B. Jordan was the Human Torch, and now he's the bad guy in Black Panther. I just, like, stick to your guns, bro. But obviously it's not going to work like that. But just, I mean, it was good. It had everything I wanted in it. The characters were a decent representation of the characters. Like, Aquaman was kind of like this... He was like a feng shui biker. You know what I mean? It was... I liked him. And of course, Wonder Woman was still the same Wonder Woman from her movie, which, I mean, she kills it. Gal Gadot is amazing as Wonder Woman. And I will argue that. Flash was interesting because he's not already in a crime lab. Like, I don't understand how he got his powers outside of the crime lab. I'm hoping it's something they explain, maybe in his standalone. Although, I gotta be honest, like, I'm so done with origin movies. Like, I know who the Flash is. Just give me the Flash, man. Put him on a crazy adventure. There's no way with the TV show that's running... It's 4 seasons in now. 4 seasons in. I think maybe the 5th they're working on. I'm waiting for the 4th to go on Netflix, I think. They come up with crazy stories all the time, and nobody bitches or complains. Just pick a character and stick it in the movie with this kid, and let's have Flash, man. Like, it works in an hour. All you have to do is extend that. That shouldn't be that hard. In theory, I know. Cyborg. Cyborg was kind of a downer. Didn't really care for Cyborg. He was kind of a downer. He was very serious, which I guess would be Cyborg, but you know, I know from Teen Titans, it wasn't until New 52 that he was in the Justice League. And it made sense for him to be in the Justice League because it connects him to the modern world. But he's a kid, man. He's taken on way too many. Like, in the movie, I feel like they're taking this kid who literally thought he was done with. Like, everything he ever loved was done. He couldn't play sports no more. And obviously he can. He's probably better at it now. Well, he's absolutely better at it now. But you're just sort of stripping him away of the innocence of the fact that he is a kid. It's just not funny. I guess while I'm complaining about it being too serious, I'm complaining about him being not funny. I mean, I'm complaining about the movie being too funny and not serious enough. Right. But I would like him to be funnier. Because he's a kid. But Flash was hilarious. Aquaman was funny. Cyborg. Who's Batman? Which I like Ben Affleck's Batman. I like it. I can't explain it. But I like it. Wonder Woman, like I said, was cool. Who am I missing out? Is it just Superman? Superman's the last one? It just seems like a really small roster. I guess that's right. 6. Superman. So Superman, he did have some upper lip problems. Like, you know, I can let a lot of stuff slide, I understand. And I don't think CGI needs to make that world a reality. It just needs to boost the creativeness in a person. But holy shit, his fucking upper lip was so bad sometimes. It was terrible. I dug Superman. He was fine. It was kind of cool when he started fighting the rest of the Justice League, because it really shows like where everybody stands to Superman. So that was kind of cool. That was that. I'll probably end up talking more about this later. Remembering details. Let's see, the last thing. That's the house light on. Am I in trouble? I think I'm in trouble. I think I'm in trouble. The house light came on. Okay, well, anyway, the other movies I watched were Netflix. And that was Beyond Skyline, which was cool. Aliens, it picked up sort of where the first one left off. Had a cool sci-fi story. Giant aliens. Iko Uwais from The Raid. So the movie is cool. And I'm watching Game Over Man right now. Honestly, when we took a break, because children decided to interrupt Netflix with YouTube, so I just left on YouTube for a second. So Game Over Man has been hilarious, but a lot of dick. I'm missing one. I'm missing a movie that I watched. Sharknado. I watched the first Sharknado, and it was kind of cool. I don't know why I avoided it so many years. Like, I am so into those movies. Like, I don't know why I didn't want to watch a cheesy movie like Sharknado. That's a perfect movie for me. And there's 4 more to watch, and I can't wait to get through them. But I'm going to assume that since the house light, the back porch light came on, that I'm probably in trouble. So I hope you guys had a good day. Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. Later.